Okay, when we say sports in layman's terms, it's literal.
America. America. Welcome to sports. In layman's terms, I'm your guy Willie SoSo, and to my right we have
City franchise.
and to my left we have
TBD. I had to get used to this here.
TBD, ladies and gentlemen.
These braids is dope.
Okay.
Unfortunately, to her left is
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the greatest entertainer of all time. Remember that.
That's why the Tigers. Go ahead.
the greatest entertainer of all time. Didn't even tell the people his name. Whip, ladies and gentlemen. Whip. That is Whip. Work in progress.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Y'all know what we do, how we do it, where we do it from. Bringing to you from our favorite watering hole, Snooker's Pool and Pub in Livonia, Michigan. Coming to you with no coaching, no media spin, just some folks at the bar with the drinks, talking sports just like you. Let's get on into it. Sponsored by So America. Normally, well, this is a podcast where we talk about sports. In layman's terms.
You mean to tell me all this time that's what we've been doing?
Go figure. But here's the problem.
We don't have a postseason
We
right now.
really don't have too much shit to talk about. Our Tigers are the shit.
Yes.
We've talked about that in nauseam. It's the offseason for our Lions. We expect them to be great when the season starts.
I like where your head's at, man.
Then there are Pistons. They got sent home by the Knicks. Can't talk about that no more. We could talk about the Knicks, but they're about to get put out by the Indiana Pacers. Could talk about the Timberwolves, which was my pick for the NBA championship, but they're about to get put out by the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, you did a better job picking your nose.
Damn. You picked Denver.
I did.
Got him!
Since there was nothing really eventful going on in football, basketball, baseball over the weekend, let's talk about what did happen over the weekend.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
F1 race in Monaco, NASCAR race. There was a Indy
Indy
500.
Yep, somebody won that.
And there was a horse race recently.
Kentucky Derby.
After that, the
that's
Preakness.
that, yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry, the who?
The Preakness Stakes.
The Triple Crown, one of the Triple Crowns.
This is exactly why we don't talk about this. That right here. That's exactly why we don't talk about this.
You know about
Horse racing. They say that that's a sport. People say that bowling is a sport and golf and a bunch of other shit that we really don't care about. Here's my question to y'all. What constitutes a sport being a sport?
And here we go.
to me, is the physicality of it. You gotta be, it's a physical thing. So, you know.
You saying physicality fucked you up, man. It fucked you up, didn't it?
That's a sport.
I mean, yeah.
So,
that's
all right.
word of sport.
Okay, so the physicality. What defines sport for you, TBD?
Guy in a short shirt.
You so ignorant. I'll say technique, because just because everybody can do it does not mean everybody can do it well. So there should be a level of technique in something where if you didn't do that, then it only works for you. Like if I'll use bowling, just because everybody go out there and throw a ball toward the pin, there are people that are really good at it that can always get it done right. And so it's technique, and there is a skill set as far as practice, where you can see the tangible results of, you can tell when somebody has been working hard at it.
Being proficient at it.
Yes.
Okay. So physicality, having a proficient skill set. Franchise.
Actually, I took what they said, and I took it what they said a little bit differently. So we had physicality, and technique, and putting balls in a pen.
What?
We're still talking about sports franchise.
This is a sport then.
What?
Okay, no problem. Okay.
I guess I would say, can I bet on it?
Can you bet on it? The gambling aspect.
Yeah.
Sit your ass down.
What defines a sport is not one singular thing.
I agree.
So physicality, agreed. Having a proficient skill set or technique, agreed. You put those two together, yeah. Being able to bet on it.
What about you?
Opposition. Having opposition. Whether it be the green in golf, whether it be the lane in bowling, or whether it be the defense in football, basketball.
I was gonna say the opposition is another opponent, like other humans, right? So the lane doesn't have to be your opposition.
It doesn't necessarily have to be
Physicality, technique, and opposition.
Opposition to other bowlers. Well,
That's yeah.
well, but you do ball against somebody.
Oh, that's
but,
true. And you also got to bowl against the gutters and everything.
But they're not stopping you from being proficient, or they're not opposing your physicality when you bowl. The actual opposition would be the way the lane is bowled, and they have like different patterns and so forth and so on. Don't ask me how I know.
You're absolutely correct, though. So you guys are talking about the lane that has an arrow going to a certain point.
Yeah. And the same thing goes with golf. The greens are different, the rough, the bunkers, and they're set up. They're set up a certain kind of way. So physicality, proficient skill set. Yep, you got to be able to gamble on it. In this landscape, yes, that's true. Okay. And then opposition. Now, with that said, we can all agree football is a sport, basketball is a sport, baseball is a sport, soccer, sport, even though we don't give a shit about it. Bowling, is it a sport?
To me, it is. He must have bowled in his lifetime. I still bowl now. See, point taken.
I was gonna say you made the argument.
Right.
No, I did. You made the argument. I'm just helping you out.
Work in progress.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Shit, try to bowl four games.
There is an element of physicality to it. But it ain't like playing basketball.
Is like, can I down these 4 pitches of beer?
No.
Between
no.
The physicality of it?
No, there is actually
you got a 16-pound ball. So you keep putting
there is a physicality. There's definitely.
Let's go to our ball expert, Joy. It's a 16-pound ball. Is that really physicality from what he's saying this here? Can you please give me some insight on what he's talking about? Did you call it a ball expert?
Don't take it, please.
Wow. What he's talking about here?
Man, no diddy.
Golf is a sport. We willing to say golf is a sport?
I'll say this.
Yes.
The reason why I would say yes is I've attempted to try. That is not easy. So I always give somebody a lot of respect for the stuff that you can do. That just because there's limited exertion, there's still a lot of it.
Let me just put a pin in that. Doing these things at a high level doesn't necessarily make them a sport. And here's what my argument has always been. Not that I disagree with you, I don't. But rocket science is hard. I can't do that shit either. But that don't make it a sport.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't have the categories that are required as far as physical. You can't bet on rocket science.
I'm not so sure the way some of these cats. You know what? Never mind. You're right. So golf, sport, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you got football, basketball, baseball, soccer.
I know we're going next one. I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Is auto racing a sport?
I would say no.
You say no.
Yes.
You say yes.
Can I bet on it?
Yes. Bet on it.
All right. Moving on. That's all you care about.
Hold on. Wait, so
That's all you care about.
That the only thing that makes a sport is whether you can gamble on it?
No, of course it's a sport. It takes skill and technique to do what they do.
Absolutely. And so does brain surgery.
But you don't see brain surgery teams going against brain surgery.
There's no opposition unless it's the brain.
this is my point about it. Just saying that it's a sport because it takes skill doesn't make it a sport. It has to be more than that.
He ain't lying.
Now you say that it's a sport because you have to have the physicality of driving at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, man, that's tough. You ever drove 230 miles an hour? I drove at 160. That shit's tough.
Why were you running?
Why you bringing up old shit?
Here's the exact same argument. I'm not saying that it does not take an elite level of skill. I absolutely believe that.
But you're sitting down
Physical, you're driving. Period. Do you have to have endurance? Yeah.
You cannot drive an I-96.
There is. I'm not saying
that makes it more of a sport. Have you seen them
in many cases. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but that's exactly why I bring up the example of, say, rocket science or heart surgery. All of these things take elite level skill, but they do not take the physicality that you're talking about.
They don't.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I do not think the auto racing is a sport.
Oh,
and here's the main reason I don't think auto racing is a sport.
That means we're not going to have no signs up for you when you go to Detroit's auto race this weekend.
Yeah, fuck that. The thing that does the most work in auto racing is the car. You do have to have someone with skill to drive it, keep it upright and on the road. Sure.
I find that insulting to the pit crew. They don't want to do the most work.
To the car.
Yeah.
To see to it that the car runs at optimal condition. The driver is a very skilled individual. I'm not considering him an athlete, and that's another question that I want to ask. We'll get to that in a second.
With your definition, going against race car driving, you think horse racing is a sport here?
Horse racing, I do believe is a sport.
How the fuck the horse do all the work?
The horse doesn't do all the work.
No,
the horse does not do all the work. The jockey does the work. And when we get talking about bullshit
and guy,
bullshit. When we're talking about, in fact, when we're talking about physicality, jockeys literally have the most stringent physical demands put on them. They have to be as fucked up as it. They have to be a certain height, and they have to maintain a certain weight.
That's true.
And
they have to stay in a certain position.
That's what a driver do, though.
They're not sitting down.
Yeah, they get a certain weight.
It's not like they playing lacrosse or like polo, the horse polo shit. Where, because the horse is still doing some stuff, but even the way that the jockey has to sit, they're not sitting on the horse. They're literally controlling the horse. They're squatting at a position that's going to be a long time. They have to maintain their weight. They have to be a certain height. They have to keep their body at a certain position. That is a level of physicality.
So
that was legitness. Yeah, it was.
So in auto racing, you have opponents.
Yep.
So you're competing.
It is definitely a competition. Absolutely.
In horse racing, you have opponents?
Yes.
Definitely a competition.
Are you competing?
Yes.
The horses are competing! And then both of those things, can I bet on it?
Franchise, if you just want to say this one out, feel free. We got it. As long as you can bet on it, it's a sport for you.
But no, what I'm saying is they're competing against somebody else. There's opponents out there. So why is it not a sport?
You're missing that other component, the physicality.
That physicality car.
Yes, I've held my pee for an hour.
That is hella endurance. That ain't physicality.
So I want you to sit on one of those and take a ride. You said physicality, so we know that. So we're saying that auto race is not a physicality sport. So that's not, so in your, I mean, what we're talking about. So that's not a sport.
I mean, jockeys have died in their race.
We can put auto racing in the same column as
guys that put car race. Many. When I put them in the same
part of fuck it.
No.
That's championship.
No.
And what?
One is driving a car and one is sitting at a chessboard.
But they're both skill sets, right?
Okay, so then, if that's the case, literally every single thing that we've said we could put in these sports.
So basically, it comes down to is can I bet on it? You can bet on chess.
The fact of the matter is, if you just want to bet,
I don't think because it's a competition that makes everything a sport. I think it's a contest.
I think the topic. I think the topic because if it's not a sport or it's an athlete.
Okay, that's one thing.
So let's that's a better topic.
Just because some things are a contest does not make it a sport.
All right, I said it's a sport if it's on ESPN. How about that?
Hell no.
They have ninja throwing stars.
That's a sport.
It is not.
Get it from see if the fucking hurt you.
Yeah. I heard what you heard. But you said ninja
stars. Sorry, but I said ninja throwing.
Thank God for the button.
What's a nigga stars?
I thought she was talking about the New York Knicks something, you know?
Let's go down this hole that franchise brought up, where we're talking about what makes an athlete an athlete. So speaking of ESPN, I don't know if it was them or Sports Illustrated some years ago, they put out this list. It was Sports Illustrated? Okay. They put out this list of the top 100 athletes of all time. And somewhere on that list, they had Secretariat, a horse.
I said they might not know who that is.
Secretariat was a horse.
Really? You had a Triple Crown. Really?
I knew somebody did not know, so I did. American Secretariat was
you thought it was somebody he worked for.
Right.
Damn, I didn't know it went that deep.
She was like, what's it, the executive assistant?
What kind of contest is that? You made
Secretariat was a horse. It won the Triple Crown in like 1973. 1973.
Oh, but he did. Okay.
He would have last one to win the Triple Crown.
All day for him.
He would have last one to win the Triple Crown.
No, that's irrelevant.
That's not the point.
That is the point. Was the other horse on there too?
No. And my point is,
I think the horse should be on there as an athlete.
Correct.
Because you're the equipment.
Correct.
You can't be a jockey without a horse. And if I see a jockey running along chasing a rabbit,
you can't have a car race without.
And you can't be the secretary if you didn't have the jockey to get you there to be the what they call them?
Secretariat.
Oh, okay.
And secretaries have nothing to do with this. Just want to reiterate.
Oh, that's the name of the prize they give you. You thought it was
a horse. Secretariat is the name of the horse.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Race car drivers.
Not athletes.
Yes, they are.
No.
I think they are.
They are skilled professionals.
They were on the list too.
And they shouldn't be.
Oh, stop.
But you said about physicality. You agree to that.
Yeah, I didn't say they're not.
Yes.
So obviously we are not like paying attention to the most race car driver of all time, Ricky Bobby.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you.
When Ricky Bobby, because when Ricky Bobby got the crash against Frenchie
and ran,
they both got in the car and they ran.
You've been waiting. You've been waiting this whole segment.
Physicality.
You've been waiting this whole segment to go there.
I can't believe I am.
Ricky Bobby. You ain't first last.
But if you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to use the position of Ricky Bobby.
I feel like if that's the case, then they shouldn't score that high up if we're talking about top 100 because swimmers and gymnasts and all them need to score higher than them.
Now, mind you, I don't know who all was on.
I'm not saying that you do, but
I agree.
To me, I think there's a giant between being a skilled professional and being an athlete. Because for you to be an athlete, there's a level of discipline, a level of physicality, a level of endurance and exercise physically that you need to demonstrate.
I agree 100%.
Even if I can play basketball, I can't do this.
I'm gonna give y'all another one, and you just said something. You just mentioned what may be considered a sport that makes me think about this conversation in a different light. Whether we're talking about what is and what isn't a sport, and what is and what isn't an athlete. Gymnastics. Is gymnastics a sport?
Yes.
I disagree.
I'm about to say no,
I disagree.
It's a competition.
It is a competition. Why? Because there are people who subjectively judge what you're doing. However, gymnasts are most certainly athletes. Most certainly. So in that case, we'll say it's not a sport, but it definitely is an athletic competition.
I've never heard of an athletic competition that's not a fucking sport.
What? He just gave you one.
Hot dog eating contest, they're not athletes.
And that's not a sport.
Correct. But if you're considering a gymnast an athlete, and the level of practice and endurance and time
they are most certainly athletes.
They athletes, but what they do is a competition.
A sport.
No. Why? Name me one sport where 3 people sit and judge whether or not you did this, that, or third right.
I got one. You gotta raise your hand before you talk.
Boxing.
No.
No, boxing there is an actual judge. No. They don't judge. They literally look at, I hit you more than you hit me.
That's not even true. It's still 3 judges that sit
no judging in boxing.
Thank you.
There is judging,
but there's no first place, last place when it comes to points.
Except for it's not
subjective.
A different
criteria they use for boxing.
It's not subjective in boxing. They go. That's why they have the stat meter that tells you punches thrown, punches landed. Yeah.
Gymnastics do have a skill.
They have to land a certain way. There is a Rubik's that is determined because that's the same thing. I look at ice skating as being a sport, and those are
here's the difference. Ice skating and gymnastics, same thing.
So because there's no obvious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points.
It's subjective to the judges.
Based upon the technique, the skill set, and the physicality, you land.
And they all do it, and it's subjective if whether you did it better than the next person.
It's not a fucking sport. It's
not a sport.
I said what I said.
If you're going to call gymnastics an athletic sport,
I'm not going to call it an athletic sport. I'm not going to call it a sport at all. I will call it an athletic competition because the winner is always going to be subjective. In football, baseball, basketball, bowling, and just about anything that we've said is considered a sport. Whatever we consider a sport, it is absolutely a definitive line of win and lose. There's no reason for subjective.
But we're talking about now, for you guys, bowling's not a sport either, then, right?
Thank you.
Right.
Stop it. How isn't it?
Because you're not an athlete. You're just skilled at it.
What? No, there is an absolute level of physicality for bowling. Absolutely.
You just said gymnastics wasn't there.
It's not a sport, but I definitely say there are most definitely 100% and much better athletes than, say, bowlers.
So then there's a skill set to bowling because a lot of people can do it, and there's a skill set that does not make it a sport just because you're a skilled professional. There is an air of physicality
to bowling that I believe qualifies it as a sport.
But gymnastics doesn't have an air of.
And how many times do we have to say this? They absolutely do. And we said that they are athletes, though. But the whole competition is not a sport.
So then you needed to add in the very beginning that there is a definitive score system because that's the only thing that you just added now.
I've literally been saying that the whole time.
No, you have not.
I have. I said the gymnastics, the scoring system, the
when you said
judging system.
Throughout the duration of the podcast, but you didn't say that.
What?
You never said. You just said there was
because
an opposition.
I didn't have to. Because there was never any mention prior to now of gymnastics. When we brought up gymnastics, that's why we made the delineation that they are definitely athletes, but what they're competing in is not a sport. It's an athletic competition. Fine line, and the fine line is the fact that how they win or lose is based on judges who subjectively give them the win. There's the difference between that and everything else that we know.
Why subjectively? Axel, what's her name? Got screwed at the Olympics.
Simone Biles when they said she was too good?
No, that's Simone Biles. The other girl who got the bronze and they took it away because the other team complained.
Child. There you go.
Subjective.
Obama out.
America, this has been Sports in Layman's Terms. Take a look at this content. Comment. Tell us what you think is, what isn't a sport. Tell us what you think or who you think is. I had to say what or who you think is an athlete or not. You can find us on YouTube.
Tell us if you knew what a secretariat was. The secretariat.
You can find us on YouTube at Sports in Layman's Term, Facebook at Sports in Layman's Term, X, Twitter, whatever, at Lay Term Sports. And hell, if you really want to get in contact with us, you can email us at sportsinlaymansterm@gmail. Most importantly, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this content. Let the world know we out here talking our shit. I am Willie SoSo, and this is
Your athlete TV franchise.
fuck off. And that is
A dancer who's an athlete, TBD.
you fuck off too. Trifecta, baby?
No,
That
I do
is
something else. 51-47.
I don't know what the fuck he said.
Wrong numbers.
You don't know that movie?
No, but those aren't the right numbers.
why.
51-47.
Why?
Oh,
I just want to know why. I just want to know why. America, fuck it. This has been
51-47.
sports
45-47. Damn.
Dyslexia.
in layman's terms.
That's why it's a work in progress.